Getting a new microphone can be challenging compared to what's out there. So today, I'm going to show you two of the best options for microphones for $1,000. The Neumann U87 TLM 103 and the WA-8000 from Warm Audio. So let's talk about these microphones and which one is actually better for maybe you, or which option you want to go for, because there are a lot of differences between both of these microphones. We're going to talk about a few categories: the price, what you get, the usability, and the sound quality, and also who have used some of these microphones. You will be surprised that maybe some of your favorite artists have used some of these microphones. First off, let's talk about the price. For the Neumann TLM 103, you could probably get this around $1,500 or around $1,200 if you don't get the shock mount included with it. You could also get some for used. There's one right now that I found on Facebook for around $900 that you could probably get this for, or the WA-8000, which you can get for around $1,200 brand new, or you can find a used one off a different website or something like that. Links in the description if you want to pick any of these brand new or used. So once you pick one of these up, what do you get in the box? With Neumann TLM 103, you basically get this wooden box that looks basically like this. But with this Neumann TLM 103, I didn't get the wooden box. I got the anniversary edition, where the bigger box here. So this is a really nice carrying case. If I had two Neumann TLM 103s, this would be nice to keep, but I only have one, so I kind of left it in California, so I don't have it right now. And that ran me around $1,600, and that came with the microphone shock mount, the stand, a few other gadgets and gadgets, and cable and some other stuff. Versus with the WA-8000, you get the shock mount, you get this pop filter, you get this really nice carrying case, and you also get the power supply. So with what you can get, just by buying both of these items brand new, you probably get way more for the Warm Audio. So did more of the price actually go into the sound, or we'll get into the sound quality pretty soon. Some of the differences with these microphones in specs is that, with the Neumann TLM 103, this has the same capsule as the U87 from Neumann. They're $300,000 microphone, versus the Warm Audio is supposed to give you that same capsule that's out of a $10,000 microphone, the Sony C800G. And that is a really nice microphone, and a lot of people have used that. But also that capsule and that microphone is also from another microphone, the Neumann 67, which is also crazy that Sony used a Neumann capsule in their microphone. So with those facts being said, it's like, should you go with the other products or Neumann? Some of the famous people that have used these microphones, we'll go with the Neumann TLM 103. We got Lil Uzi, Drake, Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga, Coldplay. A lot of people have used the Neumann TLM 103, and it's a respected microphone in the industry. Now the WA-8000, a lot of people have probably not have used this microphone as of yet, because this was just released not too long ago, versus the Neumann TLM 103 being out for decades. The Sony C800G, that microphone has been used by everybody, like Drake, Whitney Houston, Beyonce, the list goes on. Now let's talk about something that a lot of people probably are not talking about, is the usability of both of these microphones. But before we do, let's talk about our sponsor for today, themusicgang.com. If you're looking for high quality templates for mixing and mastering for Pro Tools, and mixing and mastering rap vocals, link in the description. Check out my template that I use for my album. This is the newest up-to-date version. Also, there's some free mini kits, paid mini kits on there. Check them out, link in the description. Now let's talk about the usability of both of these microphones. Now, if you're getting a Neumann TLM 103, this is a small microphone, as you can see, compared to the size of both of these microphones here. If you're just traveling, you're going to another state, you're flying around, you're at the airport, or you're just on a scooter, whatever you're doing, you're traveling, this is a really small microphone that you can carry around, and it's really nice, to know that you don't have to carry around a bunch of stuff, to get a really powerful and high quality mic. Versus with the WA-8000, you have to carry around the power supply to get this thing to work, because you're not going to plug it directly into an interface. You have to plug it into the power supply and plug it into your interface. And when you do that, you do not use the phantom power, because you don't have to. It's plugged into its own power. So with that being said, you have to look for an extra outlet near a wall because of your microphone needs its own power. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I have both of these microphones set to the exact same gain. I'm using the Unison plugin Need 1073. So as far as what you get, I kind of like having, you know, less stuff to bring around. So I got to give it to the Neumann TLM 103 for this. Next, let's talk about the sound quality. The main difference between these microphones is that this is a solid state microphone, the TLM 103, and this is a tube microphone, the WA-8000. Now, depending on your work situation and how you work in doing music production, everyone has their own little process. If you're just worrying about getting the quickest recording and just, you know, you don't want to wait time and stuff like that, you just want to hurry up and just plug it in, you're ready to go, the Neumann TLM 103 is a better option because it is a solid state microphone versus the WA-8000 having a tube in it. You know, there are some really great additions to having a tube in your microphone. You know, generally it's supposed to give you more depth and more detail in your sound and just have an overall better sound. Depending on your workflow, you have to understand, you have to let that warm up. You have to let that tube sit for like 30 minutes. In my case, in this video case, I let this sit up for at least a couple hours before I recorded this video. And I did notice a difference from it warming up versus now. When you first set up this microphone, it's going to sound very thin and the volume is not going to be as loud as it should be. Once you have this warmed up, it sounds a whole lot better. You get more detailed in your vocals and stuff like that. It sounds less thin. I've seen some of you guys were using this microphone and you were saying that you were getting some fatiguing highs and stuff like that. Let your microphone warm up and maybe put on that pop filter as well that you get, that it comes with. And then you would put a second pop filter over this thing just to get the extra plosives and stuff like that. And actually with the real microphone that it emulates the Sony C800G, they do that same trick as well by putting the extra pop filter over the actual microphone and then a secondary one like this, just to get some of those extra plosives and, you know, keep some distance between the artists. Definitely try that out if you're getting some fatiguing sound. I don't think you have a bad microphone because you have to do that. You might just have some unique sounds that you get by trying out those methods. Versus with the TLM 103, I have some fatiguing sounds that I've noticed, but it may work out for you. You know, your voice may be much more detailed by using this microphone over like a U87 or something like that, because of how brighter the TLM sounds. And with the TLM 103, you know, it just brings some of those low detailed sounds out of your vocal, and I like the way how it sounds, you know what I'm saying, and I like the way how the WA-8000 sounds as well. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, which one sounds better. So let's go ahead and plug it into my hardware. I have a Need 1073 and successor compressor, and both of these should open up more when we're using some hardware. All right, gang, so now what you're listening to is the Neumann TLM 103 into the hardware Need 1073 and the successor compressor from Heritage Audio. Also, they have some pretty good products as well. You know, maybe I should drop a video on this compressor. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel for that video. And let me know in the comments what other videos you want to see on this channel. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and plug in the WA-8000 to the hardware. All right, so now I have the WA-8000 plugged into the hardware, and I do have some EQ engaged for both of these microphones if you heard it earlier with the Neumann TLM 103. But, you know, I can play with the highs. Maybe the highs are fatiguing right now, you know, for this setup, for this microphone. So let's adjust the EQ, turn the highs down. And honestly, I think you can, you know, if you have some hardware EQ, you can play around with the highs to either turn it down, which I'm doing right now, and then turn it back up in a way where you can get some really nice detail with the vocal, which I think you can play around with. And the same thing with the TLM 103. Let's go ahead and turn off the EQ. Mic check 1 2, mic check 1 2. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Does it sound better with the EQ off that I had before? Maybe it wasn't the setup for this microphone, which I did not set it up for. But, you know, plugging in some hardware into these microphones will really open up the sound in any microphone that you plug it into. You know, definitely check out getting some hardware, and I have some videos on that if you want to click the card at the top right. So let's go ahead and plug in the TLM 103 into the hardware with no EQ. So now I have the Neumann TLM 103 plugged into the hardware with no EQ, so that you're getting the raw sound of this microphone. And like I said, a lot of people have used this particular microphone, even though this WA-8000 here, you know, only came out not too long ago. So, you know, it hasn't gotten warmed up into the game yet. Some people haven't used it yet. It could change in the future. You know, you never know. You might have the next artist come out using this microphone, especially if you use it right. You can get some really good detailed and quality out your sound. Link in the description if you want to pick up any of these microphones. Make sure you guys subscribe and like the video. Also check out themusicgame.com if you want to check out those templates for Pro Tools, FL Studios. I use those templates for my latest album. Link in the description. You guys stay safe. Peace.